Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Tableau Server Certified Associate course. In this session, we're going to explore one of the most foundational topics for any Tableau Server administrator, the installation process and authentication configuration. The Tableau Server installation starts with downloading the installer package that matches your operating system. During the setup process, one of the first choices you'll make is where to install the software. This install path defines where Tableau stores its files, logs, and configuration data. It's best practice to choose a high-performance drive, ideally SSD-based, with plenty of space to grow. Installing on a drive with limited capacity or slower read-write speeds can cause unnecessary performance bottlenecks later on. As part of the setup, you'll also configure the gateway port, the port through which users access Tableau Server in their browsers. By default, Tableau uses port 80, but you can change this to another open port like 8080 if your environment has restrictions or existing services using port 80. Whatever port you choose, make sure it's consistently accessible to users and appropriately configured in your firewall and network settings. Once the installation is complete, you'll move on to defining how users will authenticate into Tableau. This is where the concept of the identity store comes in. Tableau supports both local and external identity stores. A local identity store means that user credentials are created and stored directly in Tableau Server, an option that works well for small teams or testing environments. For larger organizations, an external identity store is the better choice, typically integrating with an existing Active Directory environment. This allows users to sign in using their existing corporate credentials, streamlining login and enhancing security through centralized management. From there, you'll likely want to configure Single Sign-On, or SSO, which makes the login process smoother for users and more secure for administrators. Tableau supports several SSO methods, each offering different benefits depending on your organization's infrastructure. Trusted Tickets is a method that enables an external application to authenticate a user and then pass a token to Tableau Server so they can be logged in without seeing the login screen. SAML, or Security Assertion Markup Language, is one of the most widely used SSO protocols and is typically paired with identity providers like Okta, Azure AD, or Ping Identity. It allows users to authenticate through a single centralized system while also supporting multi-factor authentication. Another method is Kerberos, which is often used in Windows-based networks. With Kerberos enabled, users who are already signed into their domain can access Tableau Server without needing to log in again. It's fast, secure, and seamless, but it requires a bit more configuration to integrate correctly. Finally, there's OpenID Connect, a modern authentication method that supports cloud-based identity providers like Google and Microsoft. It's ideal for organizations that have adopted cloud-first strategies. An important consideration with these SSO methods is how automatic login works. When users don't need to enter their credentials manually, the experience is faster and more seamless. However, it also means that administrators need to be vigilant in ensuring that role-based permissions are correctly applied behind the scenes. Just because users aren't prompted for a password doesn't mean they should have unrestricted access. Proper configuration is essential to balancing convenience and control. At this stage, it's also vital to think about security, particularly with SSL. Secure Sockets Layer encrypts all traffic between Tableau Server and users' browsers, protecting sensitive data and credentials. During installation or shortly afterward, you can configure Tableau Server to use HTTPS by uploading your SSL certificate and private key through the Tableau Services Manager. Enabling SSL is a standard best practice and should never be skipped in a production environment, especially when your Tableau deployment is internet-facing or serve sensitive data. In conclusion, the way you install and configure Tableau Server, from the install path and gateway port to authentication methods and SSL, lays the groundwork for everything that follows. Thank you for joining us today, and see you soon.